evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities. Presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself. I'm a corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, two-time best-selling author, host of Authors on the Rise, speaker, senior vice president of operations for DMV Masterminds, co-host of the Tammy Collins Marquee Radio Show, co-founder of Sweetheart Scholars Nonprofit, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network LLP, and vice president of sales and marketing for Melanie People Magazine, and blogger and media for Black Women Hustle. Today we have an awesome guest, which is my special guest, Margo Lovett. A little bit about her. Margo Lovett is the creator and host of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation, a podcast streaming on VercaveRadio.com and iHeartRadio. This top-rated show is driven by conversations with successful, reinvented women, making the show a global resource for the baby boomer female who will or has reinvented herself to become a speaker, author, and entrepreneur. A reinvented woman, Margo's first book, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention, launched October 2017, becoming an Amazon bestseller, followed by the anthology Women Inspiring Nations, released in January 2018. After ending 26 years of employment, Margo followed her passion, hobby of 15 years internet radio. With the help of a coach, the podcast has reached over 1 million downloads and streams. One Mail Magazine, the Huffington Post, and Vercave Magazine have featured Margo, plus she graced the cover of Vercave Magazine. Margo is a contributor to the Women's Leadership Magazine, One Mail each month. Margo teaches blueprint for building your podcast, striving to usher more women into podcasting. To empower women with information resources, inspiration, and motivation so they can reinvent themselves is Margo's mission. Welcome, Margo.
Hey, Ashley Little, thank you. You know what? When I listen to all the things that you have your hands on, I say, that is one reinvented woman.
Yes, you are too. You are awesome. It is amazing to have you on the show today. I'm humbled to be able to interview you.
Well, I'm glad to be at the table. I really, really am. I really am. Thank you.
Yes, you are welcome. So, Margo, I know I've read your amazing bio. Will you please tell the listening audience a little bit more about yourself?
Well, you know what? When listen to me or they meet me, they say, wow, I never would have thought that you were shy, but it's in my first book where I was in the first grade 2 times and just really shaken to the core about what I could do, what I couldn't do. And, you know, sometimes you take that easier path. You just kind of ease along in life. And I always, after a while, I fell in love with journalism in high school and communication, and you kind of peek your head out of your shell a little bit more. And, but life happens and you don't follow that dream and that path until much further down the road. But hey, I'm a late bloomer to all of this, but I'm loving every inch of the road. I really am.
I love it. I love it. So, Margo, I know we read your amazing bio. I would like for you to walk the listeners through your entrepreneur journey. You know, from start to where you are now. Because I know you was once in corporate America, but you have retired. Left corporate America to be a full-time entrepreneur. So, could you walk us through your journey?
Oh, yes. And this is the part that I always like to tell people about because, there's so many people out there that are saying that it's just easy to go ahead and quit your job, which is what I did. I've actually read people's articles talking about quitting your job, and in 1 year, 2 years tops, you're making 6, 7 figures, and you're just a magnet for all these awesome people. And to really, the way my business model was set up, to take it back, I quit my job after 26 years. Something happened, and I looked around one day. I said, I just can't do this anymore. So it
Mhm.
wasn't like I just said, well, zing, tomorrow I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I
Uh
went to
huh.
game shows and I hopped around and bopped around and I just enjoyed life on a totally different level. Didn't
Uh
podcast,
huh.
didn't write, I didn't do anything. Got my health back and took care of my mother. But one day it just struck me. You can't keep doing this. You
Right.
you
Right.
have to
Right.
go ahead and do something else. So it all turned around to I went to Prince George's County in Maryland there, and to the Fraser Net. Ran into a man who's doing exactly what I wanted to do, and the light bulb went off. Hire him so that you can get back into podcasting, and he was just he was so authentic and just telling his
Mhm.
story and writing these numbers up on the board where it was like, wow, he can do it. I think I can also. Let me hire him. So long story short,
Mhm.
that's what happened. You go ahead and you make a decision that you're going to
Mhm.
become an entrepreneur, you're going to become an author, you're going to follow this path that the Lord has set out for you. And I hired him and got going on this thing, and it was you make sacrifices so that you can do what you want to do. That's the first thing. You make the
Mhm.
sacrifices. You don't go on
Yeah.
all the vacations you want to go on, yada, yada, yada. And you
Yeah.
build from what Brother Bedford says, an organic state, which works for me. I didn't expect a lot of rapid growth. I didn't expect that I would get 2 million downloads and streams in 1 year. And I
Mhm.
certainly didn't expect to go ahead and replace the salary that I was making in corporate in 1 year, not
Mhm.
even 2 years. So, with all
Mhm.
of those fallacies out of the way, I can definitely say that 2 years going on 3 years, I am much further along as a podcaster than I ever dreamed that I would be. And the
Mhm.
the entrepreneur thing is coming along. It's all still in the organic state, but I want
Mhm.
people to know that it takes consistency and
Mhm.
focus, and I want to have fun in the meantime, and let things happen, but keep showing up so that people know who you are and that you're not a flash in the night, that you care about what you're doing. So I don't know if that really tells my story, but it pretty much
Oh.
every day you do what you're going to do. You be about what you're going to be about. You branch out and you tell your story and you embrace people, and you be authentic, and you're going to get on the screen. People are
Mhm.
going to know who you are. It's all going to
Mhm.
happen.
I love your journey. Yes, it's an amazing story. And some takeaways that I got from what you stated, Margot, was consistency, focus, and wanting to have fun, and most of all, keep showing up. Right?
Yes,
We have
yes,
to keep showing up. We can't get
yes.
to the next level if we don't show up. So I
Mm-mm,
love
mm,
that you went from quitting your job to having a podcast that has reached over 1 million downloads and streams. That is amazing,
yes,
amazing. And when you said you found your coach, you not only invest in a coach, not just a regular coach, you invest in a coach who's where you want to be, and that is
yes,
so important when speaking a mentor or a coach is picking someone that you're investing in that's where you want to be. So that is
yes.
just so awesome.
Yes, yes. And can I just also add, you have to, when on this journey, you have to really stay in tune to yourself. And I always tell people, understand what your why is and write that down. Keep that ever before you. Because when the money's not coming in the way that you think that it should, when things are moving, that organic state, it is organic and it is a slower state that you're building at. And when things just don't look the way that you think that they should look like, you always want to have yourself in a position where you're going to keep moving. You're going to always be able to speak life into what you're doing. Speak into the day, and so that whoever you encounter, and you never know who's watching you, you never
Right.
know who's listening to you, that you're not
Mm-hmm.
you don't have that violin out talking about, oh my, I should never have done this, and you scratching your head and shuffling your feet. No,
Yes.
always show up with life, because
Yes.
this is our life assignment. With when it's with the truth be told, and if we just
Mm-hmm.
stay the course, girl. You know I could talk about this stuff all day and all night. I love I love podcasting. I love when you put business and you put podcasting together, you have entered into a covenant power partnership. And I will always
Yeah.
say that. And you can't break that bond if you just go ahead and follow these simple rules. You can't break the bond.
I love that a power partnership. You add the
Yes.
two together, business and podcasting. That is pretty amazing. So, Margo, you are the creator and host of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. As I stated, a podcast streaming on VerKRadio.com and iHeartRadio, and it's top one, the top rated one, right?
Yes.
So, tell
Yes,
us more
indeed.
about your amazing podcast.
The podcast is amazing because, and I'm Christian, and I let anybody know
Yes,
I am
absolutely, I
Christian.
am too.
Okay. Well, my sister, when I knew that I had the green light to go ahead and do this, create this podcast, I said,
Hmm.
Lord, what is the name of this podcast? And the Lord gave me
Hmm.
her business, her voice, her conversation. So,
I
okay,
love
what are we all about? And Cheryl Wood always says, don't talk about stuff that you don't know about. You haven't lived it. You haven't done it. You're not doing it. So what I know about is reinventing yourself. So bingo, off goes the light. And that's how I build out my avatar. That's how I choose my guests. Women who have written the books and they've become authors. They are in that speaking arena because I don't know everything, but when you get those guests on and those experts that are moving along in that vein and in those industries, man, you get a lot of information there at
it.
your access. And that's what I am commissioned to bring to my audience each and every week. The experts, the people who have done it, the people who are doing it. It doesn't matter that I'm a best selling author. They may not hear me. They'll hear Ashley Little or they'll hear, Ola Jackson. Oh my God, I had a chance to speak with Ola Jackson. That's a bad sister from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who took an
Hmm.
eight-page newsletter, turned it
Hmm.
into a magazine, and then she went ahead and turned it into digital. You're talking about on the newsstands next to Essence magazine. So you get a chance to meet people like that and have conversations with Ola Jackson and Sandra D. Robinson, who was an actress and had me hollering, laughing, talking about how terrifying it is to be on that red carpet. Nobody wants to walk on the red carpet. But now she has reinvented herself and she is the go to person when you really want to get yourself ship shape and ready for a major presentation. I've had a conversation with yourself in your book and Pam
Hmm.
Perry, who is the PR person of PR.
Yes,
So
yes.
I guess I'll say all that to say this show has opened up my eyes to women who are doing some righteous work out here, and they are willing to lean back and help others so that we
Yes.
all can get to our become our best. So that's the long story. That's the short story of the long story of what her business, her voice, her conversation is all about.
And yes, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on your show. I was on your show last year, and I was very humble. And it's an amazing short show to all the listeners that are listening. She has an amazing show. And something that you said that stood out, Margo, is reaching back and pulling forward. That is so key. Because at the end of the day, a good leader is a servant first, and we should always be reaching back and pulling forward and helping somebody else get there. Because we can all
Indeed.
win together. Yes.
Yes, definitely. That's what leadership is all about. And when you're a podcaster, I'm a podcaster, and we really, when we chose this lot, or this lot chose us, we really decided that we were going to be leaders, and on so many different levels. So we owe it to our listeners, we owe it to our guests, we owe it to everybody who's in our circle and on our social media. We owe it to the world to be a leader 24/7. And that's just the way I see it.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Leading by example. So,
Hmm.
Margo, why is podcasting important when building a successful business? Why is that? Why is that an important part of it?
Ooh, you know what, Ashley? I found that once people understand that you have the guts and the commitment to host a show every week, then that sets you apart from a lot of people. And it automatically makes you an expert because they know that you are available. They know that you know what you're talking about. They know that you are a leader. They know that you are now connected to other people. So it automatically sets you on a different playing field. So podcasting is so very important. And for the longest, we've had men dominating this thing of podcasting. And women, we have so much to say, and we are retiring. We are having our say. We are moving along on this planet, and there's every opportunity and every reason why we should become podcasters because people are waiting for our stories, and that's
Yes,
pretty much it. We have to tell the story. We can never let it die. Never.
I love that, and it's something else about podcasting. It's easy to create. It
Hmm.
increases your traffic generation, as you just stated, and it helps your public speaking skills. So anybody that might have a problem with public speaking, it gives you the practice and the training that you would need to be better as you continue to show up every week.
Amen to that. Amen. You're
Yeah.
going to get out there out of that comfort zone. Most definitely, you're going
Yes.
to jump out of the boat.
Yes. 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 So, what are some strategies, Margo, you would give to listeners who are thinking about doing a podcast, but they are either afraid or they do not know where to start? What are some strategies you would give to them?
I would tell them to think about your why. There's that big word once again because you want to be clear concerning why you're doing it. And then you want to think about your listener. Who are you creating the show for? What value do you bring? And then just do it. I'm teaching people how, especially the baby boomers, how to just get started. Everybody doesn't have, there's so many different platforms that you can use. I break it down to sizable bits on how do you just get started. But I'm not the only one. John Lee Dumas, oh my goodness, there's so, Pat Flynn, there's so many people out there that will help you actually begin this journey. But you have to understand why you're doing it. Make it personal, who your listener is, and understand that you can do this. And it doesn't take a lot of money to get started. Don't let that back you down. And you don't have to be a quote unquote techie to get started. But you do have to get your why in place, and you have to just get started. Those are the takeaways. Those green eyed monsters that come up all the time. Just get connected with somebody that you trust. Go on the webinars, go on the websites, and ask questions. I listen to Brother Bedford. I listened to him and I watched him, and we actually had phone conversations for a whole month before I decided to put my money where my mouth was. So do that. He vetted me. I vetted him because everybody is not your coach, but you have to have somebody. Now YouTube is everybody's friend, and yeah, you can go on YouTube and learn how to do this thing, but it is so much better when you have somebody who can explain it to you, who's going to hold you accountable, because you need at least 3 shows to get started. So why, if you take the time to go ahead and get 3 shows going, why don't you have an accountability partner, somebody who knows you by now, somebody going to hold
Right.
your feet to the fire and keep you going. So you asked for a few tips, but I want to make sure that everybody has a firm foundation. Because with a firm foundation, magazines will find you, and like I say, you never know who's watching you. Investors will find you, and you can just open yourself up to a totally different lifestyle when you have a firm foundation and you are consistent and your guests are satisfied. And when you talk about that show, honey, you are bubbling over. You can hardly contain yourself. It does. It's a miraculous thing. It's a wonderful life.
I love it. So listeners who are listening that are thinking about it or might be a little afraid or you're thinking about doing a podcast, the key takeaway is just getting started and knowing your
Hmm.
why and having that accountability partner and that firm foundation. Those things are so
Yes,
important. But the main key is just doing it. Do it afraid, get started. Just get
yes,
started.
yes. That's it. And it's so simple. Brother Bedford says, he says, whatever you do, find the simplest way to do it. So when you're starting out, find the simplest way to do it. Now, you got somebody who's talking about all this editing and stuff like that. For some people, that's way over their head. Don't even take a
Mhm.
person down that slippery slope. They're going to have glazed over eyes. They're going to say, deuces, I'm out of here. I don't want to do this, you know. So find
Right.
somebody who's going to take you down that easiest, most effective way to get started. You could always build out and build up, you know. But Ashley's
Mhm.
right. Get started. You know, I admire you, lady. I mean, you
Thank
just
you.
doing the doggone thing. This is wonderful. I'm very proud of
Thank
you.
you.
Another black
Thank
lady doing it and throwing her hat in the ring
yes.
and consistently sticking, hanging there, corporate by day and hanging with her podcast. And that's something that's noteworthy, indeed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm humble and you are amazing as well. As I stated, it's an honor to have you on the show today just to share with the listeners a lot of your wisdom and your knowledge. And, you know, you have definitely have the track record for everything that you're doing. It's just pretty amazing. So
Thank you.
now I want to talk about your amazing book. Let's talk about the
Okay.
best-selling books and talk to the audience about the Reinvented Woman, your first book.
Oh, my goodness. My strategist, this, and I'll speak about him until I go to my grave. I'm sure because it's you have to pay honor to the people who get you
Right.
where you are. But he told me after we got started, and he didn't even let me get started long. About 6 months into the show, he said, "Okay, show's moving along. You have all these shows in the hopper. Now people know who what the show is all about, but who knows who Margo Lovett is?" And so I'm wondering, where is he taking this? He said, "You have to write a book." And I'm thinking, oh my God, please, what? Immediately a wall comes up and you think, what am I going to say? Now, you know what? You're going to get me out here bad and I'm going to look like a fool. And oh my God, you get all these thoughts. But her business, her voice, her reinvention. And the subtitle is How I Went from Game Show Hopping to International Show Host, Author, and Speaker in 1 year. It was
I
created.
love
He did not push me, and he said, do it in your own voice, which is the only way that I could do it anyway. So it's just no fluff, no frill. I just tell everybody about who I am, where I've been. You don't tell everything in a book, but you give a good glimpse of
it.
who this Midwest born woman is and move through corporate and quit, went into game show hopping, won some really nice prizes and gifts, but had a business plan that was on the bookshelf. And one day it did yell out to me, "Hey, don't forget about me." So I went ahead and hired the coach and really dug in. I did some pretty risky, courageous things in the first 6 months of the show, but they were good because I was up under the tutelage and under the wing of my strategist. And so within a year, I was a part of the Burkay rate. It was then Bershani iHeartRadio network, and it was growing great guns. The head of Bashani Burkay, Benny Randall Jr., he was tired of not really having access to good talk radio. So he bought a station, he created a station, and I was able to become a part of Bershani iHeartRadio. And it took off like a rocket, went international, and I was there from the beginning. And here comes my book. Here comes speaking opportunities, and so much happened in 1 year until I really had to put it in the book. And main takeaway from the book is to celebrate. be true to yourself and really celebrate the wins, the large and the small. And pay attention to yourself. Take time to reflect. I actually had to let go of so much baggage that first year. I actually had a ceremony. I live in Southern California, and so many of those things that were hanging over from corporate and fears and the wolves that growled at night. I wrote all that stuff down, and I went down to Long Beach, California, and I had it on a bright pink piece of paper, and I balled it up, and I threw it out into the ocean as far as I could. Did it on pink paper because I wanted to make sure it would never make it back to shore. It would never get caught up in the rocks. And I saw the waves come in and take it on out. And some of that stuff none of that stuff, actually, it never saw me again. So all of that stuff is in the book. It's out to help people get their foundation laid inside and out. And I had stories of some other amazing women who were on my show the very first year. Casey Grant, one of the first black flight attendants, and she always says that Dr. King made history on the ground and the flight attendants made history in the skies. I had an awesome conversation with Kat Coley, which is in the book also. Kat Coley is a lady who took money from a major corporation, thought that they would not prosecute her. Well, they did. And her story is quite revealing. And you're talking about suffering loss and reinventing herself and rebounding. Quite a story. And gosh, that's what my book is all about. I couldn't just tell my story and not tell the stories of other women that caused me to take courage and grow. Dr. Daphne Clark Hudson, she woman that struggled to get her high school diploma because she took care of her mother, and she's now Dr. Daphne Clark, and quite a profound woman. So, when you run with the horses, as a friend of mine said, and that's what this book was all about. Run with the horses, you're going to gain strength and be a stallion yourself. So that's the book in a nutshell. No fluff, no frill, no embellishment. And I wrote it so that others could say, she did it, she reinvented herself, and I can do the same thing. And she brought along some friends to prove the same. They did it, you can do the same thing. So that's it in a
I
nutshell.
love I love it, and congrats again on your awesome book. And some
Thank
things, some
you.
takeaways I got from you, Margot, is celebrating your wins, the large and the small. What people have to understand is we have to celebrate our small wins because they open doors for our large wins. So
Yes,
we should celebrate everything,
yes,
everything, as
everything.
well as that self care. Our self care is important. Yes,
Yes,
work on that. It's so important.
yes, yes. If you don't take care of yourself, you will never reach the heights that you are destined to reach. And there is an appointed place for all of us who have said yes to this thing of becoming an entrepreneur, said yes to being a podcaster. But if we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't take care of ourselves, mind, body, soul, and spirit, you'll never reach them. You'll always be plagued with the imposter syndrome. You won't vibrate at a effective level. You have to vibrate at a high energy level because that's what people are looking for. That's what people tune in to hear. That's what people need. So I just need to put that part in there. That stuff we can't. That self care. Oh man, do not sacrifice it. You'll never make it to the heights that you're supposed to make it to.
Absolutely. And how can they purchase and support this awesome book, Margot? How can listeners do that?
They can go over to the website. And this is one thing that I love about Brother Bedford. When we started all of this, I asked him, I said, Brother Bedford, what about my website? And I need this bell and I need this whistle. He said, you know what? All you need is a place where people can buy the book, send them over to herbusinesshervoice.com. So that's where they're at, herbusinesshervoice.com, which is the link, the gateway to Amazon, where you can purchase the book. And it tells a little bit more about me. Of course, it talks about the it talks about the book, and there's also space there where you can sign up for my newsletter, sign up for information because as yourself, so many women come onto the show and they have books that they're giving away or booklets and free tips,
Mhm.
and I always want to keep everybody abreast to all this information that is coming in, and it's just for them and for their betterment. So if they're while they're there getting a copy of the book, if they sign up for the newsletter, then I can keep everybody abreast to what's going on with the guest, what's going on in her business, her voice, her conversation.
I love it. And please go support and purchase her book. She's amazing. This book is amazing. Please go support it. So Margot, what I want to talk about next is your coach, and I want you to share with listeners why it's important to invest in a coach that is where you want to be, why that is so important, and how I know you spoke more than once on how your coach has helped you have a successful podcast, have a successful business in many different areas, and I was so blessed and fortunate to hear your coach, Bro Befford, on a Black CEO probably a month ago. So he's a
Yeah.
pretty awesome guy. So I
Yeah.
want you to share with listening audience a little bit more about that and why it's important to have a coach and why it's important to invest in the right coach. Yes.
You know, we always want to play cheap at the wrong time. But when it's time to get yourself a coach, cheap is not something that you should be. I always say get do your homework on who you're vetting, who you're courting. Make up if it may be somebody who's even on a wish list, but put that name down and find out the reasons why you want to work with them and give them a call. Once you find out whether or not it's a good fit, find out how you can work with that person. If you have to start out at a cheaper level with them, get in their sphere. Listen, go Black CEO, go to their website. But all of this is very important because they eventually are going to know you. And eventually they're going to like you. And that investment that you have made with them, it goes much deeper than the monetary part of it. And when you're coming from corporate and you have that corporate mindset and you're trying to skip over here to be have the mindset of a speaker, the mindset of an entrepreneur, the mindset of an author. You need somebody who's already played in that field, somebody who's already there. Because you're trying to you're trying to connect the two worlds. And what you know in corporate and what you knew that's not going to translate over to this brand new territory where you really want to be successful. So you have to go with the one who's going to cause and provoke you to be successful. Get you out of your comfort zone. Do those things that you never would have thought about doing. You know, everybody wants to jump out great guns. Brother Bedford told me to start out with a landing page, and I'm still with a landing page versus going out there and getting this big $10,000 bells and whistle website. So you start out with a person who has your best interest. That everybody's out to make a living, yes, indeed. But when they see your greatness, they understand how they can get you where you need to go, and they're not going to go ahead and make all those promises that they cannot make. Brother, there are some things that I thought that I should have done the first year. But when I look back, I wasn't ready for all of that. I wasn't ready for the success that was going to come out of making that move. So there's a lot of intricate work that goes with getting a coach, and I just don't know about success without one. I really, really don't. You need a writing coach. You need somebody who knows about speaking. You definitely need somebody who knows about podcasting. So there are many people who say, hey, YouTube is my friend, Google's my friend. But I would venture to say, chart it out, find out how how are they moving along? How successful are they really? Because another friend of mine says, "Hey, everybody's talking the talk, but let's see how deep that walk's going." You know, and if I may say, and I don't want to belabor this, but because of my strategist, and we did this from the very beginning, my foundation is sound and I can build up on it. So now when Mail Magazine came to me and asked me to be a monthly contributor, I could say yes because, and I wasn't afraid that my structure was going to collapse up under what they're requiring, asking me to do. When a couple of people have asked me to speak, I was able to move away from the podcasting, not afraid that, oh Lord, if I don't pay attention to this every day, once a week, ooh, it's gonna just fall down. I don't have the context that I need, yada yada yada. And then when now I'm in a position where there are some people from New York and some people from the Midwest that I'm in talks with concerning some very high profile guests to be on the show, and this is moving into the monetization part of podcasting. So some very exciting things are going on, but it's only because I was able to get a firm foundation, and it came because of Brother Bedford, a man who's doing exactly what I
Mhm.
wanted to do, and I wasn't
Mhm.
guessing about it. I saw his track record. So when
Mhm.
that you have to be honest. You check out how honest this coach is with check him out, vet
Mhm.
him,
Mhm.
you know. So
Mhm.
and I guess I'm belaboring that, Ashley, because I am so sick of people taking money, $500, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, and just leaving people high and dry. And they don't, you go into this and you're all in, and you're giving it all you have, and you don't get the results that you deserve. I'm sick of that happening to people. I really am. I don't like it. I just don't like it. So if you say you're going to help a person build their podcast and they're all in, let them come away with a podcast. If you don't tell them, I don't tell people you're in 1 year you're going to come away with 1 million, 2 million downloads and streams. Hallelujah if you do, but you're not going to get
Mhm.
that kind of guarantee from me. You know. So
Right. Right.
be righteous with people. Be right with people. Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
You're
you
fine.
know?
You're fine. I love it. Everything that you said was just absolutely fact. And some other takeaways that you said was, for listeners that are listening, do your homework, do your research. That's so
Yes.
important. And like she stated, invest in a coach that's already played in the field, that's already playing and played in the field. That is so important. You can't have no, you can't hire a coach or a mentor who has not been where you want to go. That's not
Mm-mm.
a coach or a mentor, and that's not a good
Mm-mm.
investment. So we have to
No.
make sure that we are investing in the right people and that they have a track record. That is
Yes.
so important. That is
Yes.
so important.
And don't hire family because you're going to be mad. Don't hire family now. you're going to be mad.
So Margo, you teach the blueprint for building your podcast. So
Yeah.
please tell us more about your mission and your coaching program.
My mission is to make sure that men, women in particular, and I'm always leaning towards the boomer women because I know that we care about the financial obligation that goes with podcasting, and we care about the time, we care about the technical aspect of it. So I've really broken it down to the most effective, non threatening common denominator. And it's 6 weeks. Actually can be done in 5 weeks, but I only want to be online Zoom for an hour a week. And let's just go ahead and each week let's build this podcast out. My only guarantee is that if you show up, do your homework every week, uh, you're going to come away with a podcast. It's going to have a good sound. Sound quality is going to be good. You're not going to have to worry about all those bells and whistles. Don't even worry yourself about that because you will move into that eventually on your own. Everybody has to find their own media platform, the one that works for them. But that's
Mhm.
pretty much what it's all about. I take the teeth out of it early on, and I've begun to do webinars so that people understand what's really going on. They can hear my passion. They understand a little bit about my track record, what I bring to the table. I'm not some Johnny come lately. I had started a podcast 2 years ago, and now I'm trying to teach it. Yeah, I really got serious 2 years ago. But I've been doing this thing for quite a while. and it's moved from passion, hobby into business. So I bring to the table understanding of being afraid to make that move. I did it for a long time, and when you were a guest on the show, you probably don't know why Brother Bedford was engineering, but I'll tell on myself anytime. Brother Bedford was engineering at that time, in spite of how much experience I had, because I was definitely afraid of that not capturing all of that information, because I didn't want to make a mistake of not hitting record, of the
Mm-hmm.
sound quality being bad. Hey, I tell on myself, but as you grow and as you do it, the light bulb goes off. Hey, I can do this. It's time for me to do this. So I tell on myself during the class, and I will be at the start and the finish line with the person as long as they need to. And as I say, 6 weeks, yes, we're dedicated to that. But if you need me past that time, then we'll talk about it. We will work something out, and I'll hang on with you, because all I care about is that you are a podcaster. You're in the game, you're running, and you have a firm foundation that you are comfortable with building out with. And with building out comes other opportunities. And, in 2, 3 years, I want to hear about you have 2, 3, 4, 5 million downloads and streams. I want you to shoot for the stars and not be afraid to walk on that water, in that magnificent world of being a podcast. So I get real wordy. I love this stuff. I really, really do. And I want women, and I want us to go ahead and dominate this thing. I really, really
Mm-hmm.
do. That's my objective. And I'm out to help any woman. I'm going back. I have a VA now, because I want to revisit all of the people that I've touched and reached in LinkedIn, which is where I hang out most of the time. Why is it that
Mm-hmm.
we connected anyway? And now, as we revisit, how is it that I can assist you? And is it time for you to actually get a podcast going for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
For a lot
Mm-hmm.
of women, it's time. It's time for you to put on that expert hat. It's time for you to control the airwaves and that RSS feed and have your fingerprint there. It's just time. And when you determine that, I'm here for you. That's my mission.
I love it. Congratulations on all of your success, Margo. This is pretty awesome. And thank you for creating that space for women to come into podcasting and believing in us so that we can dominate this industry. So I'm just loving that. And not only are you doing that, but you're reaching back and pulling forward off of experience and off of
Yes,
results, not just
yes,
talk, but experience and results. I love
yes.
it.
That's what we need. But that's the only way that I go back to Cheryl Wood, because who's a profound speaker. I heard
Mm-hmm.
her say something about not having growing up in poverty, and not having a college degree, and that type of thing. But when you look at her and you listen to her and all of the experience that she pulls from, I don't want anybody to think I have to have a master's in broadcasting. I have to have a doctorate in communication. I don't want any woman to think that I need all of this stuff to get started. If you are an expert, whatever you've been doing for the longest, take your
Mm-hmm.
place and own that. When you own it, and you can solve problems and the pain and the concerns of others, and you can take them where they need to go, baby, you are an expert. Position yourself for that, and don't let anybody or anything stop you. Don't let that inner chatter or that outer stuff, don't let that stop you. Don't let it talk to you. It has no right to even address you, queen. No right. Push it back, you know. Do the doggone thing. I'm telling you.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So, Marco, you have all this awesome stuff going on in your life. So, my question next is, what did failure teach you?
Failure has taught me that it will come out, it will look like it's bad, but it's really not always bad when you get to yourself and you really think about it. It feels bad, it hurts. Sometimes failure is doggone embarrassing, but why did that happen? Why did it come like that? And you know what? As somebody told me a long time ago, they said, be gentle with yourself. You never know what's going. Is Mercury retrograde going on? You never know. You never know why it happened the way that it did. So be gentle with yourself. Go to the side. Get yourself someplace quiet. Get yourself a little wine or whatever. Get that chocolate chip cookie or whatever. Whatever's going to bring you some comfort and sit and just think about that thing. Pray about it. Maybe you weren't ready for what you thought was supposed to happen. You never know about that thing of failure. Don't be so quick to call it a failure. It really could have been, and probably, and most times for me, it has been a blessing that I just did not, I didn't see what was going on, and you're embarrassed. Just go ahead and call it what it is. It,
Yes, I
it
love
wasn't
that.
really a failure. Yeah.
Yes, because a failure is only a lesson. It's not even a failure. It's a lesson, right? For us to just get
Hmm.
up and dust ourselves off and do it again, but do it better the next time.
Yeah, and don't let your ego talk to you. The ego's gonna get the violin out and oh, woe is me. What are they thinking? What do you care? What do you care? What did
Right.
you learn from it? What's your takeaway? And get to stepping. You didn't come this far to come this far. You know.
Yes, yes. So what did success teach you?
Ooh, to just love it and own it. Own it. It took me a long time to be able to say, you know what? I got this many downloads and streams. It took me the longest. But when you think about the sacrifice and the work and the focus and the commitment that went into that, girl, you better go ahead and own that. When I think about what all went into quitting that job after 26 years and the 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 lowering of lifestyle that it has taken so that I can build up and really, really be where I'm supposed to be in this life. I was really always destined to make more money than I ever could have made in corporate. That's the real deal. So, look at that success and once again get off to the side and celebrate it and swim in it and dream in it and write about it and expound upon it and just go ahead and just claim the thing. It's wonderful. Taste it, smell it, be all up in it. Wrap up in it.
Yes, I love it. Celebrate it and own it, listeners. Celebrate it and own it. I love that, Margo. So, Margo, what can we expect from you in the future? What can we expect from you for the rest of 2019?
Well, you know what? The Lord has me really on this thing of speaking. That's why I'm overjoyed to be able to be on your show. The invitation again, I thank you because the Lord at 2019, I asked, I said, well, what's next? Where are we headed?
Yes,
And I
yes.
really have to get this thing of speaking, do it much more often, put myself out there, actually apply to speak at different conferences and be on webinars. I have to really diligently get myself out there like that because and I don't know who I'm supposed to address. It's not for the monetary gain or that type of thing, but I feel the pull and the commitment to reach one, two, three people. I don't know. I'm supposed to speak because there's some people out there that need to hear my story, that need to see and feel my energy because I've been allowed at this age. I am 65 years old, Ashley, doing all this stuff. Girl,
Yes,
living my best days. There are
yes.
some women out there that have to experience what I have for them. So speaking is where I'm at. I have to tell some women all about reinventing themselves. We love our grandchildren to death, but we did not retire to just be the babysitter. We did not say that we are going to go ahead and keep our grandkids every day. We are committed to live our lives, to become authors, speakers, entrepreneurs, because we are living long lives. So somebody has to experience Margo Lovett. So I'm putting myself out there on the speaker role. I'm out here, Lord. You know what? And this is all good. I'm being obedient, and I am going to get. I'm out of the boat, and this is what's on the horizon. As a matter of fact, I'm speaking once I said yes, a speaking opportunity has come up almost every week on a
Wow.
podcast or something. So I have to say yes, yes, yes.
Well, first of all, I want to say you look amazing. You look amazing. You're 65. You look amazing. Next,
Thank you.
God is amazing because I'm going to tell you how, not only was I on your show last year, but I also saw towards the end of the year, you like you said, you don't never know who's watching you. I saw you stepped out and started talking about, you want to be on shows, you want to speak, right? So I was
Yeah.
watching you the whole time. So I said, you know what? I'm going to reach out to her and
Oh,
we're going to put her on the show. Right?
yeah.
But you never know who's watching you. Because I
You
remember when
know,
you stepped out and did that, and you never knew I saw that.
never knew.
Yes. Look
Well,
at him.
hey.
Look at, God works in mysterious ways. He's amazing. Yes, he
Yes,
is.
he is. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Ashley.
You are welcome. So how can the listening audience follow and contact you and just get in touch with you and support your services and hire you to help them? How can they do
Well,
that?
the main thing is I want people to first the couple ways go over to be very acquainted with the show. It's over at and it's easier to go over to verkayradio.com. V as in Victor, ERCAY radio.com. We're in season 10, Ashley. I don't know where the time is going, but we are in season 10. So I send people over there to listen to the show, and let's connect there. And then you can go over to herbusinesshervoice.com. And like I say, get on my mailing list because I've gotten a lot better with reaching out and staying connected with people that are on the mailing list. Like I say, there's a lot of information that I need to get out to people because people have been gracious and kind on the show, and we have information for people, and a lot of good things are coming up, and that's how you can get in contact with me. I'm a podcaster that believes in giving out phone numbers also. So if you just want to go ahead and hit me up on Facebook, you can. Her Business, Her Voice Her Business, Her Voice on Facebook, Margo Lovett on LinkedIn, or my phone number, it's the office number, 424-258-7372. That's 424-258-7372 because I have found that sometimes people just want to connect by way of old school, the phone, and we just chat it up. And I do make myself available that way. I know, a lot of people don't, but I have
Yeah.
found that, man, there's nothing like being able to have that phone conversation.
Yes, 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 yes. So listeners, please reach out to her and support and reach out to Margot. She's doing amazing and she can help you get to that next level, especially when you're trying to get into podcasting. It is
Mm-hmm.
awesome, like she stated. Let's dominate it, women. She's looking for women to dominate this industry. And I'm so excited to see what you're going to birth this year. Margot, I know you're about to birth some awesome things and I wish you many, many blessings this year and forever and ever, okay? So
Thank
I
you.
want to also thank you for coming on the show and letting me interview you today and taking time out of your busy schedule. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the great things that you're about to continue to do. And I would love to invite you back again.
Oh, anytime, Ashley. Let me know. I love your energy. I love your platform, and because you are always going to make sure that we have a seat at the table, and that's where we have
Yes,
to be. Got to stay at
yes,
the table.
yes. We got to create our seat and build our own tables, right?
That's
We have to.
that's right.
Thank you so much, Margot. Thank you, and many blessings to you.
Thank you. Same to you, Ashley. We'll talk
You're
soon.
welcome. All
Bye
right.
bye.
I would
Bye
like to
bye.
give a special thanks to two of my mentors, Tammy Collins Marquis and John Schamberger. I also would like to give a special thanks to Dr. Larry White Sr. and author Kimberly McNamore. And you all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at underscore Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.